Hello Jeppe. This video is to give you feedback on task 2 on air power and core operations. I'm going to be talking about the structuring and organization of the text and on your paragraphs, a little bit about the very local level of the text. I'm going to be using the terms and the theory presented in the PowerPoint I gave you the first time we met. So refer back to that if any of this doesn't make sense. I'm going to begin at the global level with the overall structure of the text. I see, first of all, that there is no introduction to the text. This means that it's very hard for me to know what you're going to be doing throughout the text. So introduce the text as a text. Sometimes we call it metalanguage, I think, in Danish. Not a term that's used very much in English, but I think we do that in Danish. You provide me with like a roadmap telling me we're going to go from A to B and this is how we're going to arrive at B. Usually that's the conclusion, that's your point of view. And when you progress into the body text, you signpost along the way to tell me where are we on that kind of roadmap that you described in the introduction. So keep that in mind for next time. Introduce the text as a text. Tell me what you're going to be doing. And how you will arrive at your conclusion. This points to another problem, because had you done that, you would have seen that there is no coherence, no obvious coherence between the first and second part of your text. I get why that happens, because you were asked to do two things and you've done two things. But your job is to create a coherent text. Regardless of what the task description is, you are in charge of the text, you produce it, and you have to make it coherent for the reader. So what is the point of first talking about Coin and ISOL and then talking about Pape, Mueller and Warden? There is a point, I know this, but it's not been expressed, it's not been put into words, as it were, in your text. So be a little more precise on that. Because the thing is, you do have a conclusion. You actually do arrive at a point of view throughout the text. So what you need to do is tweak the structuring of the text and the wording, the transitions, or rather you need to provide transitions so that I can see how you arrive at your conclusion. So it's not like a huge task, but it needs to be done in order to create an impression of you being in control of your own text. Another thing, this is moving slightly down towards the local level, not completely at the global, but sort of more going into the text. You need to look at your paragraphs. You need to revise them and need to be more concise. The word concise means that you are precise and you are brief. So it's a combination of those two terms. So be brief and be precise. Every now and again, you kind of use too many words to get to what you're trying to say. So go back and revise them and see how can you condense it and make it more clear, like really spell it out. You have some paragraphs that have more than one thesis sentence, which is a complete no-no. One thesis sentence per paragraph and then support and elaboration for that. If you have too much, it becomes muddled what you're trying to say and you seem less credible. That's what a good paragraph structure does for you. It makes you seem like you know what you're doing and that your argument is persuasive. Moving further into detail, when you go through Pape, Warden and Mueller, you end with Mueller, and that bit of the text seems to need more development. I don't really know why you don't spend more time on him. And the reader's kind of left with going, is he like an inferior theorist? Why are we mentioning him in relation to Pape and Warden if he's kind of the guy in between? But what are we... Is he relevant? Or do you dismiss him? If that's the case, then say so. Because it's unclear how you feel about that. Because you don't say enough. Not enough explanation, basically, about him. So that just leaves me with one thing, which is at the very local level, sort of at word level, which is to do with your abbreviation or use of abbreviations. When you write HN for host nation and ROEs for rules of engagement, the first time you use them, you write them out completely, then put the abbreviations in brackets, or write it out completely, comma, and then the abbreviation. From that point on, you're free to use the abbreviation. Just remember to do that, because it's just annoying to the reader. So to reiterate, keep in mind that you need a structure and you're in charge of the coherence of the text regardless of the task description. Introduce the text as a text. Be a little bit more concise, that is precise and brief. Yes, and then I want to end by saying that what you have got going for you is that you make no major mistakes in your language. There are very few grammatical errors. There are a couple, like the possessive case, gills you, every now and again. Outside of that, you're pretty fluent, correct in your choice of words, no grammatical errors. So you don't have a problem at the local level. What you have to consider is the global level. That needs to be strengthened. And I would imagine that you can do that quite easily once you pay attention to it. So I hope to see this in your next task. Should there be any issues with this or anything you just don't understand, I'll see you on Friday, obviously, but you can also write me an email. Okay? That's it for me. Bye.